Last week I gave you 10 minutes. 10 minutes that I hoped you would not immediately fill with another task, another notification, another I should just. But 10 minutes of space, like a small pocket of nurture, a little white space in the middle of a colorful life. And I have been wondering ever since, what did you do with them? Or perhaps I should ask, did you do anything with them at all? Because that might have been exactly what you needed. This weekend, two words that kept coming back to me: doing and being. I heard them more than once while attending the Congress of the church denomination my church is part of. I was there in my role as a chairperson representing my congregation. It was a full weekend, many conversations, much listening, decisions to take, people to meet. And after that, it was Eurovision with my family. In front of the TV, songs to discuss, favorites to cheer for, opinions to have. And then celebration of a dear friend turning 50. Beautiful things, meaningful things, joyful things. And also a very full calendar. The kind of weekend where you can look back and think, yes, that was good. And now I can tick those things off and move on to what comes next. Because I do love structure. Yeah, I love a well-organized calendar. I love a good to-do list. And yes, I genuinely enjoy crossing something off when it's done. There is a certain satisfaction in doing. But as I sat there during the Congress, writing in my notebook, I kept hearing the words in this order: doing and being. Doing first, being second. And each time my pen almost rearranged them on the page. Because what landed in me was this: being at the heart of doing. Being powering doing. Not because doing is wrong, not at all. There are seasons where action is definitely needed. There are moments when we cannot simply sit still and reflect forever. Today, as I record this, it's Tuesday. And in less than 20 hours, a new podcast episode needs to be released. So no, I cannot stay only in being today. I need to move, I need to act, I need to do. But the question is, what is doing being powered by? Is it pressure, habits, expectation, or something more rooted? On Sunday, I will be preaching again, the second time. And the theme is habits, just as it was last time I preached. Then I focused on identity. Who am I? Who do I want to become? Now, 2 months later, there has been several examples described about different types of good habits. And the focus naturally shifts to the next part. How do I keep going? How do I continue? How do I build something through repetition? Because that is the essence of a habit, isn't it? To return, to practice again, to continue. I'm someone who always wants to improve things, like refining them, polish them, make them a little better. And that can be a beautiful quality, a really good one. But I also know that if I polish too intensely, too urgently, too constantly, I quietly slips into performance. So I've had to practice a different pace. Not 100% better, just 1%. A small continuous movement. That 1% approach is something I have been inspired through James Clear's Atomic Habits. The power of tiny improvements repeated over time. And yes, my shoulders soften even as I say it. 1%, not a grand reinvention, not a complete overhaul, just one small act of alignment. But even here, there are two ditches we can fall into. on one side, constantly doing, always improving, always producing, always optimizing, always moving, but no longer from a grounded place. And yes, there is movement in that ditch, but it's still a ditch. And ditches are often tangled, heavy and difficult to move through. On the other side, complete stillness, where reflection never becomes action, where we wait and wait and wait for perfect clarity, where nothing gets expressed, tested, or lived. So perhaps the path is not being or doing, perhaps the path is a movement between the two. And when I reflect on why those words stayed with me, being at the heart of doing, I realized something. For me, becoming 1% better is not primarily about achievement. It's not about performing more impressively. It's about becoming a little clearer, a little truer, a little more aligned with what God has already placed within me, as if I'm gently polishing the surface, not to become something else, but so that the light can reflect a little more clearly, so that through who I am and through what I do, something of that light becomes visible to the people around me. That is a very different kind of improvement, like not self-optimization, but faithful expression. Not how can I do more, but how can I become more available to what truly matters. So today I want to give you 10 minutes again. Not because every week needs to contain a new assignment, but because perhaps we need to practice receiving space more than once before we stop immediately filling it. 10 minutes, and this time I invite you to ask, where do I need to invest these 10 minutes today? In being, to breathe, maybe to pray, to sit in silence, to let your shoulders drop, or doing, to take one small step, to send the message, to write the first sentence, to clear the one thing that has been quietly draining your energy, or perhaps to find the path between them. One small action that's deeply rooted in who you are, 1%, to express yourself more clearly. So, where will you invest your next 10 minutes? In being, in doing, or in the road in between? Be confident, be you.